To you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more. All lines from FanDuel as of Thursday this week. Before we get to Saturday, I do have a Friday night treat. We like to play stuff on Friday nights.
Oh, these games are extra ratty on Friday. Go ahead. If this is you betting Illinois, I'm walking out of here.
No, the opposite. Cornhuskers.
Oh, God.
Is that any better?
Dude, you may as well just do heroin. I mean, can we get a needle between this man's toes? Are you kidding me?
So the game is Illinois minus 3.5.
Cap this.
Against Nebraska.
How long do I have to wear this hat? I'm being serious with the people. Where's the sunglasses?
I don't know.
Where are they? I got short arms, man. Where are they?
Not over there?
No, they're not over there. I mean, what do you think? I'm the claw from the bowling alley? Like, I've got limited range here. That's okay. Go ahead, Jim. Friday night, I want you to cap Illinois, Nebraska. I can't believe you're doing this.
As you pointed out, I can't bet Illinois.
Did you just alt 12 F7
Yeah,
delete?
there was a note in there that I needed to correct. But anyway. Mike, I'm 2-0 betting against Illinois this year.
Truth.
Toledo in week 1, Kansas shortly thereafter. Both teams ran all over the Illini. It's been a problem, and they're with mobile QBs who get on the edge and give you multiple run threats. That's all Nebraska's got going for them. That, and they're like a traditional run-stopping team against everybody not named Michigan. So I'll take 3.5. I'll take Nebraska.
Look, I'm not going to make fun of you. I think, listen, and this isn't a lecture. I think something I've done a better job of this year, and I think you're still a little bit loose. You're still betting 2-3 beers deep. I've avoided betting on completely nonsense teams. My fear is you're betting a matchup here that is so gross. It is so ugly, and here's the problem. It is essentially a split game, meaning there's no opinions in the marketplace. I just worry it is. Now, if Nebraska were at home, I might actually go that route. But, Jim, just a reminder, you are betting a Nebraska team that does not have the forward pass.
Does Illinois? I think these two teams are similar, and I'm getting 3.5.
All right.
And I think Nebraska's a better running team, both sides of the ball.
You're a big boy. You do whatever you like.
You wouldn't play it?
I would take this off the board so fast. Listen, don't you dare. I know what you're going to do. Don't you dare.
No, this isn't the free play.
Okay. Let me get that in. Oh, all right. Just go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
And that's it for Friday. Anything else Friday night that you want to play?
No, the K-State game, here's the thing. Kansas State at Oklahoma State, K-State laying 11.5. I'm with you. Kansas State's the side. Your problem, the number has crossed the bridge. It's over a key number of 10. It's too many points. Oklahoma State is horrific. They're terrible offensively. But it's also a little bit of a sleepy spot here for K-State. I'm avoiding it. There's too much good stuff Saturday. If you want to put your Nebraska thing on the board, I'll root for you. Yeah. Believe me, I want no part of that game.
Wasn't Illinois home against both Kansas and Toledo when they struggled in both those games? I believe.
Yes.
I believe that was the case. So I'm not afraid of going into Champaign. You made a face?
There is no reason for me to have the last word on that game. Okay. I will root for you.
Okay.
I just think you're getting yourself in trouble there.
And now we go to Saturday.
Yeah, let's do this.
The delivery of the week brought to you by Hungry Howie's. Flavor Crust Pizza. It's the official pizza of Cash the Ticket. And this game we've been waiting for all season. Before the season.
Oh, yeah.
It's Texas, Oklahoma. Line from FanDuel. Texas minus 6.5 noon kick ABC.
And I will say time of taping, and it doesn't matter for our purposes, right? We can go FanDuel line of 6.5. I will tell you, I am seeing 3 6s on the board.
Other places.
If you want it. Shop your lines. Shop your lines. Until or unless FanDuel comes out with a best line on the market guarantee, kind of like Bed Bath & Beyond or something. Sorry, guys. Love you, FanDuel, but I'm not going to lie to people. We're telling people to shop. Why? Looser lines. Now, if you want to match a 6 for Cash the Ticket Nation, that's a different conversation.
Well, and it made a difference for you, Notre Dame, Ohio State a couple weeks ago, getting a half point. So this stuff matters.
Yeah, and look, my problem is I'm in 5.5 with Texas, and I'm in some 6.5s. So it is what it is. I'm rolling in because they're going to win by double figures. But let's go, because here's what I don't want to do. I'm not going to turn this into an argument.
Okay.
You have your side, I have mine. It's a bit of a divorce mediation. You keep the miles. Like, just give your cap. Okay. We'll have a friendly debate.
Okay.
But this isn't going to turn into a warfare.
No, I'm not trying to yell or scream at you. In fact, I want to plead with you. And I know you're in too deep. You have the hat. You have the zip. This isn't you.
Hold on. You're actually right because this is hurting my. Do you see the marks it's leaving on my
leaving
forehead?
a mark on your forehead. Yep, nice red line.
Oh my God! All right, yeah. Hold on. I gotta go to.
You realize
I gotta go to dinner tonight with my wife. I can't have like a
no, but
red bar across
you
my
can't
head.
put that hat on.
I can do whatever I want
Because you look like, and I know you're not this, you look like the most obnoxious sports fan on the planet. People who don't know the video. He has a Yankees hat. You're a Yankees fan. You're from New York. But when you wear the Longhorns, it feels like you're Lakers, Cowboys, Yankees fan. Like the most obnoxious fan on the planet.
Yeah, I totally understand it. But here's the deal. I'm wearing a limited edition Yankee hat that is gray.
Yeah.
Gray goes wonderful with the Texas
fashion is not what I'm concerned
and
about.
honestly, this is one of my most comfortable hats. So when I'm flying, this is the deal. It's comfort over style. I don't even realize what I'm wearing half the time. It doesn't even matter. But go ahead. I know.
The reason why
like
I don't think this is you is because I want to talk football, but I also want to talk the betting. And the betting is everybody's betting Texas. You aren't a public bettor.
No.
This is 80% plus on Texas. Now, the numbers would suggest it's going to be like a field goal game, and you're here flippantly laying 5s and 6s and 6.5s on a team that everybody's betting. Mike, I know you're in too deep, but this is as a friend, me pleading with you. Don't do this to yourself.
Well, don't do what?
Texas is never back. Oklahoma always wins when these two teams are ranked, and the public is all over the Longhorns. Don't be Sam Ellinger live on this podcast for yet another week.
So
you can root for Texas. You can go to the bar. Don't bet the game.
Well, I'm in too deep because I've already parlayed 3 games I've won into Texas. So we've got over 12 units on the line.
Evan.
No, listen, I created value.
FanDuel has a helpline.
Hit it, Victor, the value cactus. Hit it, buddy. So my point is, let's talk football. A, strength of schedule, Texas, massive advantage.
Significant.
All right. B, Oklahoma's defense on paper looks much better. Here's my issue. How many top 50 offenses have they played? The answer is 0.
Mm-hmm.
You and I watched Oklahoma-Cincy. You were on the OU side. I was on Cincy. What scared me, Cincy was able to move it between the 20s pretty freely.
Mm-hmm.
What OU has done is they've bogged teams down in the red zone. Credit, respect. But go to another data point a couple weeks prior. They're in a 14-11 game against SMU with 7 minutes left in the game now. Now, when I look at Texas, here's where I think my advantage lies. Trenches and a little bit of battle armor. When they went to Alabama, would you agree that Texas took the fight to Bama?
Yes.
So while
it was obvious early that you were on the right side of that.
Yeah, and while we're down on Bama, let's just be fair. You don't just waltz into Tuscaloosa, shake your ass, and walk out with a win.
Win by double digits.
They bullied Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
So up front both ways, I look at this and I go, all right, OU's running game is already shaky.
It's not good.
Dylan Gabriel is very slight. He's not battle-tested.
Hey, you were texting me yesterday. He can't ride the rides. He's what, 5'11"?
You got to get that ruler out.
But
my point is, he doesn't have big game pedigree, and I worry. Now, you can go back. Go trace his career. Remember, he wasn't healthy for this game.
Correct.
I worry about a kid who's never experienced this rivalry, and you're going against a guy in Ewers who I think has taken the worst of it. People have shredded him. He's played in high-pressure games at TCU, at night, Red River Shootout, at Bama. He's played in the moments. I think I get an advantage there. I get an advantage in the trench. Here's my other issue. When I look at the game and I go, all right, with OU, if they are essentially going to be one-dimensional from the rip, don't you look at the way Texas defense has played? They're going to create a turnover or two because they have been very good jumping routes. Remember what they did to Milroe? Obviously, Gabriel's way better.
Thank you.
Look, man, I think I have the better QB. I think I'm better in the trenches. I know I have the better strength of schedule. I am playing 2 factors, and you're going to be proven way right or way wrong, and that's the beauty of this shit. I've believed Texas was the best team in America since summer. I've been proven right thus far, which doesn't really mean dick. But my point is, OU, I think, is a paper tiger who's had a very manageable schedule. We're going to find out right away. If OU's able to protect Gabriel, and he's going to use Andrell Anthony, and what is it? Not Nick Anderson. What's the other kid out wide? He's averaging like...
It's Anderson.
All right,
and then they got a Stoops, and then they got another guy.
He's averaging about 24 yards a catch. I mean, it's outrageous.
Yeah.
If they're pass protecting, I'm going to be in trouble. And if they are able to slow down Texas on the ground, I'll be in trouble. And I know this. I just have no data to suggest they're going to get away with that.
So for me, I didn't grow up some lifelong Sooners fan. But
And I'm not a Longhorn
I know,
fan.
but just the backstory.
But today I am.
I looked into the preseason Big 12, and I thought Oklahoma will get 2 cracks at them in all likelihood. And the odds were a lot better to bet Oklahoma to win the Big 12. And then I started to dig a little deeper. Second year for a defensive head coach, Mike. They look better on defense. We can get into how much better they are.
Sure.
But I got the numbers. They were 121st a year ago. They're 30th this season in total defense. Stop rate, they're 8th. They're 9th on third down. 20-point improvements, the number 1 point per game improvement in college football. What are you playing? Couple Oklahoma players. Okay. Couple Oklahoma players who I think are big in this game.
Let's talk about it.
Stutzman, their will linebacker.
Stud muffin.
Yep.
And he was banged up against CU.
Yep.
UC, whatever, they suck.
And he is a difference maker. They line him up all over. And then in Venables' defense, they have what's called a cheetah position. It's the hybrid linebacker safety. They brought in a kid from Indiana who was a freshman All-American, McCullough.
Yeah.
He was
His
hurt.
dad coaches out there, right?
Yeah. He was hurt early in the season. He's healthy now. And when he didn't play, they gave this elite recruit, 5-star freshman.
Bosworth Jr. I know the kid you're talking about. Yeah.
And they played him at some of the cheetah positions. So they are ready to play in space against the Texas team that wants to operate both horizontally with the RPOs, but also take the shot to Worthy down the field.
Yeah, and part of the key here,
Oklahoma
too.
leads the nation in interceptions this season. They brought back 3/4 of that secondary. I actually think their defense is set up to tame Texas.
Well, and I think the key for you, and this is where, again, I think Texas is able to counterpunch in a way they haven't been able to, is, look, I'm making the bet here on Thursday on the assumption Sanders, the All-American tight end for Texas, will play. Your linebackers have a big job to stop him, but this is where Texas can counter. A.D. Mitchell on one side, Xavier Worthy on another.
Well, Mitchell, they got involved a lot last week, early in the game. It was like the first 3 passes all went to him.
Xavier Worthy's one of those dudes. It's a lot like Jamar Chase when he was at LSU. He just jumps off the screen.
Yep.
Xavier Worthy's able to take a 5-yard play, put his foot in the ground, and go.
He's a blur.
He's really explosive. Look, man, these are the games you live for. They're the games you love to watch. I understand. Look, Jim makes the best point of all. Win or lose, both of our Big 12 futures are in play because these teams have a great shot at rematching. I'm just a big believer right now that Texas has handled things in a business-like manner. No letdown. That shows a maturity. Dropped a bomb on the road at Baylor. Dropped a bomb on ranked Kansas. I'm going into it. And he's right. Jim's right. I'm way invested because this has been my, ride or die team since summer. And they've been very good to me so far. You're right. Now, here's what I'm going to do. This is a lesson for the people. I'm in too deep. I got units raining from the clouds if Texas wins. So what am I going to do? I am going to live trade the game. I'm going to live bet the game.
So explain what that means.
So I'm going to sit down and I got Texas 5.5, Texas 6.5. 3 different parlays. They're the last finisher. And they were only 2 legs.
So if early in the game, Worthy scores a 75-yard touchdown.
There you go. I'm right all over it. I'm going, all right, what are they flashing? The minute this thing creates at least a field goal window, middle, where let's say I could get OU plus 9.5 and I got Texas minus 5.5 and 6.5. If I can create a Texas win by 7, 8, or 9 and I hit both bets, I'm in. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an Oklahoma middle if possible to get back my money, which is my liability. See, what I'm not going to do is chop into my profit. Texas is my play. I make no apologies for it. I am willing to lose. So I'm not going to go, oh, well, you could just take 5 units instead of 12. No. Listen, here's the deal. I'm confident in the play. I have to live with my decision. But what I will do is, at worst, I'm going to walk away from this totally even. At best, I hit both bets, and I walk out with 15 units. I'm 3 units in for 12-unit payout. Well, if I can walk at 15 or 9, if Texas wins, I'll live with it. But that's how you can try to middle things. And I understand. Can you get yourself in some trouble? What if OU jumps out 14-0? Well, I'm fucked.
You're dead.
I'm dead. And we're all adults. You live with it. My point is, I felt really good about a couple of picks, and I put them into Texas.
Yeah, you parlayed them.
Including last Sunday. 2 of my games that were the favorite NFL
The Niners
games.
is one of them, I think, right? Yeah.
Moved it right in. So understand, you got to live with it. I'm willing to lose the 3 units because here's the reality. I was going to make it a BGB. I don't have to now. I don't have to take 5, 6, 7 units out of my pocket. I took 3, and I could possibly win 12, or I could possibly win 15, or I could possibly win 9. Or I get launched into space, I lose 3 units, and we move on with the rest of the day. The point is, we're all in on this game. I'm going to a Texas bar in New York. Cookies is going to be watching it from a wagon in his backyard with a cat scratch thing on there. It's going to be you. The kitty's going to be driving the wagon right in a circle in the backyard. It's going to be amazing.
One last note on the game. Dylan Gabriel, you downplayed him. I know the schedule's soft. Only Caleb Williams has accounted for more touchdowns this season than Dylan Gabriel.
Only Caleb has played a shittier schedule.
And here's the deal. You mentioned Texas. I won't disagree. Line of scrimmage much better. They are giving up explosives. Longhorns have allowed 16 gains of 20+. That's 29th nationally. Oklahoma hasn't created a lot of those, but I think this is a situation where if Dylan Gabriel gets time,
there it is.
And that's the biggest thing because I don't think they're going to have a run game that's stable for 4 quarters.
If you get protection, I'm in deep shit.
Yep.
I'm banking that's not going to happen. And by the fact that you're going to be one-dimensional against a team like Texas, I just feel like that despite explosives, maybe I can create the turnover or 2. And I don't think Oklahoma's got that kind of margin. I can't wait for this game. It's going to be exciting regardless. Look, I can be happy for you if you win, and I know you'll be mad at me if I do. It'll be perfect. It'll be perfect. Carry on. Let's move to another game.
We go to the next game. Clearly, we're both playing the sides on that. Next game, Ohio State in the noon window on Fox, minus 19.5 against Maryland.
I look. Whenever Maryland plays Michigan, Penn State, or Ohio State, they turn into a pumpkin.
I've got the stats on it.
Go ahead, deliver it.
If you take out the COVID year where they only played Penn State.
Doesn't count.
Okay. The other 3 years that Loxley's been there, they've lost all 9 meetings to those schools by an average of 34 points per game.
Oh, my God.
It's even worse. Maryland all-time at Ohio State, they lose by 28 or more every time, and an average loss of 44 points per game in Columbus. Now, I would argue this Ohio State team maybe isn't vintage Ohio State. However, there's no way I'd bet Maryland in this spot.
I'm going to tell you something. I came into this game was not on my board. But as I sit here, your power stat, I just checked something too.
Yeah?
No one's betting OSU. No one.
Really?
I think we got to do it.
So this is one of those 5-0 battles. Maryland is technically undefeated, but this is where it all comes to an end.
Yeah, but you know what? Tawalia turns the ball over in big games.
Mm-hmm.
OSU's defense, I think, is better. I think they're more for real
than people realize.
And I think Jim Knowles does a hell of a job. Not that they ain't got nothing to do with U of M. We're just talking in general. We've seen McCord really tested. Who's Maryland played? Who's Maryland played I give a shit about?
Right.
19.5. We've crossed not only 21, but 20. Less than 20% of the money and 20% of the bets are OSU. We got to ride with the Buckeyes.
It wasn't on my card.
Why don't we put
we
this
can
on
do
the
this
card?
together.
Hey.
Let's do this.
You want to do this?
Especially after the vitriol in the same, while we got the other game going on one screen.
Well, I won't have this game on. I'll just check my phone. Did I win? Did I lose? But OSU, I want to lay the 19.5. I think Mike Loxley's a bum.
Okay.
And that Maryland team, maybe I'm biased. I mean, I watched Michigan State play them, and they needed us to hand them the game in order to close that puppy out. It was really 24-9. Mm-hmm. We turned it over like 17 times. I feel like Maryland's just not any good. They were tied in the third quarter with Charlotte. Shout out Biff Poggi.
Yep.
Let's put OSU on the board here below 20. Nothing crazy, single unit. I'm going to add that to the mix.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Next game. Ranked matchup. Tigers versus Tigers. LSU minus 5.5 at Mizzou. Your Missouri Tigers.
Yeah. Now, here's what I want you to do while I give you just a small cap on this.
Yeah.
I need you to pull up a player prop.
If they're up on Thursday, I will let you know.
I never do it, but I need you to check for a young man named Luther Burden.
The Mississippi receiver?
Mizzou.
That's what I meant.
It's okay. This kid, LSU covers no one, and they use Burden in the most creative ways. I just wonder, is there a receptions prop?
There is.
What do you have? Is it 8.5?
You're not going to bet it. Oh, receptions? Burden is 7.5, but it's minus 160, so you can't bet it. Now, if you want his yards,
What's yards?
108.
That's minus 110?
Yeah.
What's an anytime touchdown?
Anytime touchdown. Boop, boop, boop. Books need to do better with college. You can't bet it. Minus 220.
Okay, I'm out. And
Any high-scoring game in college, you can't bet anytime touchdown scores because they're all minus odds.
Can I apologize to the audience?
What?
Because I wasn't trying to be like, oh, I've got this super sharp play. I didn't think
I know, but this
Luther Burden was
household name.
Rocket Ishmael or my bad. I'm sorry
but
for
like that's a great
time.
example of a frustration as a bettor. You're like, I've watched the game. I think I got a thing I want to bet, only to find out it's minus 160 or he's got to have a career day.
Right. You can't bet it. And again, maybe they're telling you part of what's in the cap here, which is, look, LSU laying 5.5. So it's devil's number. They're on the road. Shout out Folsom Field. This is an absolute letdown spot for LSU. You have to view this not in the way of a normal team. You got to view this in today's college football. You're LSU. You were supposed to compete for a natty, or at a minimum, compete for the SEC. You have 2 losses before the month of October. Now, what's left? You're not going to the playoff. And that does a weird thing to these players these days because the bowl games don't mean shit. So you come off that heartbreaker. You're on the road. This is going to be Mizzou's Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Missouri, they got some issues. Brady Cook, I like.
No turnovers, right? No interceptions.
No. And Brady Cook is a willing runner. Now, he ain't Michael Vick, but he's a willing runner.
Not Jackson Dart either.
And he throws a good deep ball.
Yeah.
The problem is Eli Drinkowitz is a bird brain of a coach, and I'm not a big fan. Now, I like Mizzou because they hired Kellen Moore's little bro. He was the OC at Fresno last year under Jeff Tedford. So they've modernized the offense. My fear is, A, we've missed the best of the number.
What was it?
It was 7.5.
Okay.
But B, this is one of the most public dogs of the week.
Oh, everybody's back in Missouri.
Everyone, north of 80% of tickets, 80% of money. Everyone, even Rita, is on Mizzou this week.
Why don't we bet the over? Or is that super public too? Because everybody just watched last week.
Well, I wanted to
Oxford.
talk through the game with you. Okay. Look,
that's
LSU,
64.5. That's high.
And everyone and their mama. This thing opened up at 59. 90% of bets, 96% of money.
Forget about
over 64.5.
Forget
so here's my question.
This is a fun watch.
LSU analytics-wise, Matt House, defensive coordinator.
Spartan.
Fuck him. They're outside the top 100 in every analytic I could find. And when I tell you they don't cover anyone, Jim, they don't cover anyone. I want to bet Mizzou here. I only brought this up because I think it's a live betting game. I think there's going to be points in this game you might be able to get Mizzou.
Big swings with the offenses.
Yeah, I mean, what if Jaden Daniels goes right down the field at 7-0 and they're flashing 10.5?
He starts one of those 16-17 games, and now you're going,
Let's say you're down.
You're getting 13.5 live or something.
Right, yeah. LSU's up 16-7 and they're floating you 13.5 or something. I feel like you could live trade and get a better number. If you're forcing me to make a pick, it'd be Mizzou. But I worry it's a very popular public underdog, and generally those get put to sleep.
Yeah.
And I'm going to stay away.
And it is still LSU not eliminated from the SEC.
If
fight
LSU
for their season
comes out and plays their B-plus game, not the A-plus game, their B-plus, they win this by 3 touchdowns.
Yep.
My fear is what's left. And in today's world, these athletes...
I still think they're 1 loss away from a total mutiny. So,
you would agree with me.
That is a thing to consider. Yeah.
So you're with me though.
Yes.
Okay.
Live. I'm not playing this game.
It would be Mizzou or pass.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure I was on the right idea.
Those are 3 heavy hitters in the noon window. The next game chronological for us.
Yeah.
A game on the CW network.
Nothing says big time college football like the CW. I don't know if you agree with that. Nothing.
It's NC State minus 6.5 against Marshall.
This is an autoplay for you.
It is not, but I appreciate your callback, the recall to last year.
I called back because you had a love affair for a little bit, an interlude, if you will.
Flirtation.
With
a couple dinner dates.
A young man named MJ Morris. MJ Morris was a bit of a sensation last year for NC State when Devin Leary got hurt. You were all over. I remember one day we walked into the old pod studio. And you almost had like scrolls, like a poet. You had a cap on MJ Morris on a Friday night.
Talked to his high school coaches.
So this week, I see NC State has sat down Brennan Armstrong. It just hasn't worked.
No.
And I feel bad for the kid. He got no protection at Virginia.
He was bad last Friday night. They needed to bench him.
He was terrible.
Yeah.
And he came to NC State, reunited with Tony and I, the OC, but they don't have any weapons. They just don't. Charles Huff and Marshall, everyone's darling.
Undefeated.
No,
they run the ball.
Barely beat Old Dominion.
I know.
Who's horrific.
But this is one of those, like, everybody's the money differential's on the side of Marshall.
Now it's actually getting closer now.
Closer to 50-50.
55% of the money's on NC State, 45% is on Marshall. It's MJ Morris.
It's just one of the
man.
No, I'm not doing it. I'm not. After watching NC State, I'm not laying just shy of a touchdown against an undefeated Marshall team. Maybe you can play this.
No, I don't like MJ Morris the way you do. Let me just bring this up. I think this is something. It's a message from MJ Morris. Let me bring this up. Listen to these words, Jim. It's important. Evan, maybe you want to sing along, shall we? Stand by your man, Jim.
So I went back and looked at it. Seven touchdowns, 1 pick last year for Morris.
Stand by your man, Jim. This is you singing to MJ.
In 3 starts last year,
Who
7 touchdowns, 1 interception.
All right. Listen, you don't have to bet it. I wanted to bring it up. Charles Huff is going to be a big-time name as far as people thinking he's the hotness to coach. I don't know if I'm ready to go there.
Future Spartan.
Yeah, right. But I just thought MJ Morris would have been a play. You don't want to stand by your man. It's a disgrace. I apologize to Tammy Wynette. Let's move forward.
3 o'clock, Pac-12 Network.
All in.
UCLA, unranked, -3.5 as a favorite, hosting number 13 Washington State.
It's just all in. All in UCLA. This is where the Dickert Express is done. I really love UCLA in this spot. Now, again, I don't love laying north of 3, but here's the deal. UCLA at home, physical, both ways. Stood up to Utah, lost a 14-7 game. I think Dante Moore will get better because of that. You look at UCLA's ground game. It's tight ends. It's fullbacks. It's power. It's in your face. Washington State's defense blows. I understand. It's a great story. We didn't think they'd be that good. This win over Wisconsin, people need to calm down about. The win over Oregon State is legitimate, but that's a game you're supposed to win. You're at home. You're at night. It's a setup. Cameron Ward against this UCLA defense. I'm telling you, Ward, when he's good, he's great. When he's bad, he's unplayable. I think they're due for a come down here. I want UCLA all day in this spot. I think Chip Kelly, they're going to load the wagon, and Wazoo's not going to be able to hold up. And I think UCLA wears them down, wears them out. And Dante Moore, who went on the road to Rice-Eccles, first throw was a pick 6. The offense wasn't good that day. You get better by facing adversity. I think this is the payoff. I love UCLA here.
I want to make it the free play.
Okay.
Because I agree with everything you said in the
Done
cap.
and done. I like that the free play is one that I'm selecting. So when we play it together, I feel better about it.
It's also the Costa lock this week.
No, Jim,
I love this cap. Like, I know you said a lot of the things I'm going to say, but like, it is a great spot. You take a favorite who's unranked at home, who has a matchup advantage on both sides of the ball.
But the Costa lock's an automatic loser. Please, Evan, I want you to rule like Judge Judy here. The free play fat
You think it
envelope
has to be separate from a Costa
can't be
lock?
the Costa lock. It can't. Please don't.
I have a game in the NFL I could lock instead.
Costa lock
Keep
and
the
NFL.
free play. Okay.
Free play UCLA.
Okay.
Can we do that?
Yes.
All right.
The terror in his eyes when I said that. Like,
The Costa lock is
it's supposed to be a game I feel really good about. This is one I feel really good about.
Costa lock NFL. Leave it alone.
Okay.
You do not tangle your Schwartzes with the free play envelope and the Costa lock. And if you don't know what the free play envelope is, you got to listen to last week's college episode.
It's
You'll understand soon enough.
We got a rolling bet going.
I'm on UCLA here.
Okay. I don't know if you brought this up, but I like more against Wazoo's defense. 79th in total defense. That's a good spot at home for a guy that we think is very talented.
What I did,
very talented.
and this is, listen, it's part of the charm and the weakness of who I am. I hate these pods that do all analytics all the time. So when I tell you Wazoo's defense blows, just trust that I know the number. Jim is more nuanced, going, well, they're 79th in EPA.
We like Moore. We think he's going to have a breakout spot. This
Correct.
feels like the game to do it against, but I think the bigger edge is the other side of the ball where they're going to hit Cam Ward a lot. They're going to get pressure. This is a front
Cam
that
Ward
has teeth.
will put it out there for you.
Correct.
And turn it over.
Yeah. Now, I don't think he's thrown a pick yet this year,
I like UCLA.
but this is a spot for it. Yep. Okay, cool. We're both on the Bruins.